Have you ever observed children performing repetitive movements and wondered why? It may be a toddler flapping his hands or echoing others' words or covering his ears when he heard a loud noise, right? And these movements are known as stimming. And in today's video, we will take a closer look at it. Hey there, welcome back to my social media platform, The Happy SLP. For those of you who are meeting me for the first time, my name is Hannah Elsa Abraham, and I'm an audiologist and a speech language pathologist from India. I create videos to raise public awareness about speech, language, hearing, and swallowing issues. So in today's video, let us see more what is stimming. Stimming is also known as self-stimulating behaviors or stereotypy. It's a type of sensory processing that involves repetitive bodily motions or repetitive movements of objects. Self-stimulatory behavior is not limited to people on the autism spectrum. It can also be observed in neurotypical people. The type, quantity, and obviousness of autistic and typical stimming are the most significant differences. So when an autistic person stims, it is critical to be aware of and comprehend what is going on. And many people on the autism spectrum stim on a regular basis. Autism stimming is similar, but the actions are strange and intense, making it hard for people outside of the family to ignore them. Next, let's consider when stimming occurs and why it occurs. So whenever an autistic person is overstimulated, stimming is frequently regarded as a coping method. So most people who are not on the spectrum are conscious of the stimming and can regulate when and how long they do it. But this is not the case of autistic people. For when someone on the spectrum, stimming is typically an involuntary response, making it more difficult to control their behavior. So next, let's see the common stimming triggers. Loud noises, strong scents, bright lights, and changes in routine. And also strong emotions such as excitement, fear, sadness, or happiness. So there are different theories as to why individuals engage in self-stimulatory behavior. And it is likely that the reasons are different for different people. And it may be that the behavior provides sensory reinforcement or sensory stimulation to the individual, or the behavior may be used to regulate sensory input, either increasing stimulation or decreasing the sensory overload. Another theory is that there is a brain dysfunction in the areas controlling these behaviors, or that behaviors produce endorphins in the nervous system. If an autistic person is not given the chance to stim and meet the sensory needs, they may totally withdraw and shut down or have a meltdown. So do not try and stop someone from stimming. This will just make them feel anxious and build negative associations with specific person or location in their minds. So what if the stimming actions are dangerous or distractive to others? So stimming is usually not harmful. However, those on the spectrum who have more demands than others may engage in stimming behaviors that put them in danger of injuring themselves or others. So commonly we see as banging one's head against the hard surfaces, biting, scratching, or pulling hair are just a few examples. So if you suspect someone is in this scenario, the first step that should be taken is to eliminate the source of distress either before or during the beginning phases of the meltdown. So if they're having a breakdown, refocus the destructive behavior onto something else. So some of you might be wondering, how can I help an autistic person when they are stimming? So giving an autistic individual enough space and speaking to them in a level tone can help them reduce stimming. So if they are not putting themselves or others in danger, do not draw attention to them or intervene with their behavior. So if you can make a sensory zone where the person can use the techniques to deal with too much stimulation in a quiet place, that would be a great thing. And if your child is stimming, let me offer you a few expert recommended ways to reduce the urge. First of all, consult with a medical expert. So some activities that appear to be stimming are really triggered by serious health issues. For example, a family was concerned that the autistic child was snorting excessively. So that conduct, according to doctors, should be triggered by a sinus condition. So take your child to their pediatrician for advice before assuming that the habitual behavior is due to autism. And explain your observations and request tests to rule out any underlying illness. So do this before you do any additional stimming related steps. Another solution is that to locate and redirect the source. So stimming, as we know, is very common in the autistic people in response to a stimulus, and if you can spot it, you can intervene with a non-stimming alternative. And you can also start a conversation with your child when you detect them starting to stim. So you can ask like the questions of what are you feeling right now? And some children will respond immediately, while others may lack the advanced linguistic skills to express it out. So remove any potentially damaging triggers such as a loud noise. And in these instances, experts say that we should avoid taking an aggressive approach. So you're trying to reduce rather than increase the child's attention. So do not restrain or punish your child physically. Encourage the child to abandon the trigger and always maintain a gentle face and a low voice. And another technique is to encourage self-calming. So instead of flapping the hands in front of the faces, teach them to squeeze a stress ball or squeeze their palms together. Provide your child with sensory input through exercises or activities designed by an occupational therapist. It is crucial to keep in mind that what one person finds relaxing may be irritating to another. So always seek professional assistance. Another is trying to evade a demand. Evaluate the demand to see if it is too hard or too easy, then adjust accordingly. So in order for your child to complete a particular task successfully, it may need to be chunked into smaller portions. So when completing the multi-step activities, a person with autism benefits from additional clues. And also help your child recognize what he or she is feeling and communicate it to him in brief sentences such as, I see you're excited. Pay attention to verbal responses that are meaningful. And I admire how you put your words together. Interrupt and redirect the behavior if possible in these ways. And other majorly asked question is, should we stop the stimming completely? So autism affects people in very different ways than it affects their parents and friends. So stimming is an integral aspect of who certain activists are and how they survive during the day. So they argue that removing it will force them to hide themselves. So some people use stimming to calm anxiety according to the experts and recognize the physical features or to more focus on things or to deal with strong emotions, whereas others stim simply because it feels wonderful. It is exhausting for them to keep the urges parade all day, so they look forward to private moments when they can make noises, move their bodies, or be themselves without being judged. Researchers have heard from autistic adults who believe that stims may become accepted behavior if the outside world knew what the movement meant to them. If you have received concerns from teachers or peers about your child's seemingly innocent behavior, start a discussion about why your child behaves this way and what it implies. Perhaps your conversation can help your community have a better understanding while also helping your child to feel welcomed and loved. Take action if your child is stimming in a harmful way, and the lessons you teach now can help your child to have the best chance of growing up healthy and happy. So I believe I was able to provide you with some information on stimming, and that's the whole point of this video. So before I end, I like to leave you with a message: always be kind. So if you think this video was helpful, leave a like, and this will help my channel tremendously. And if you want to keep continuing to learn more about related content, feel free to check out the playlist or check out the videos up there. Furthermore, consider subscribing so that you will not miss future videos. And you can always contact me, the Happy SLP, either via comments or through my social media accounts, Facebook or Instagram, regarding your concerns and queries regarding speech, language hearing and swallowing issues. And the links are given below in the description, and I would try my best to help you. So until we meet again in another video, stay happy and much love. Hannah, the Happy SLP.